really sucks, bro? It sucks having big dreams and not being able to accomplish them because of what we are, Black Muslims.
I feel othered in those spaces. And it's not a good feeling when your own community makes you feel like you don't belong. That's hurtful.
We have all the police killings and different things like that, and so it's hard to balance your religion with all of the social injustices or all the different things that's going on.
And the Afro-Muslims never gave up on Africa, because we understand that we are from the Holy Land.
So, I'm reading this part right here, where it says, the raising of children. The raising of children is difficult, such that they require both patience and tactfulness. My name is Delia Chandler. I was born and raised a Christian, and I converted to Islam about 5 years ago. I'm the only one in my family that is Muslim, so everyone else is Christian. Growing up in the Midwest, saw and experienced a lot of racism, a lot of the divide. I grew up watching Klan rallies with the cross burnings and everything in the courtyards or in front of the courthouse. So I grew up with, like, my childhood friends. They asked me, you Muslim now? They're like, so what, your husband get to tell you what to do? He get to tell you how to dress? So they have all these stereotypes too. So when I'm at home in my own community, then Islam becomes my biggest burden. Being Muslim becomes my biggest burden. There still is a lot of division between us and then like the immigrant community of Muslims. I live in an area where it's mixed, and sometimes they'll greet you, sometimes not. They kind of look, because I don't wear my hair wrapped like a traditional hijab. So I wear it, I wear it like this. Sometimes I wear it differently because I do get threats at times. That's even at work on my life. They say they should blow us up, kill us all, kill us in our Allah, and that's at work. We have a few things going against us. One, we're Muslim in a country that is really anti-Islamic right now. We have all the police killings and different things like that.
No peace!
So it's hard to balance your religion with all of the social injustices or all the different things that's going on, like with the killings, because you have like the Black Lives Matter movement and you have other things going on. And it's like, how do I participate or get myself involved in that and still hold on to what I believe in Islam?
Mom, I don't want that one, I want this one.
Why do you want that one?
Because
I don't know if it's more of a personal struggle for me, but it's like trying to keep that balance because I am pro-Black. I do want to be out there and be at the ground levels working on like the issues that we have in our community that face us in particular. I sway back and forth. I really do. Sometimes I'm like, it's like pro-African American all the way, but then it's like, but that's not Islam. Islam is for everyone. There's no way that you can talk about the U.S. and not reference Islam, even though they try to hide it. And it's not just for the Arabs or the Middle Eastern. Islam has a lot of different faces and a lot of different cultures mixed in it because it's for everyone. It was brought to humanity. Such that they require both patience and tactfulness. Subsequently, some children need to be treated with
God Almighty, Lord of all the worlds, Master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship and thy aid we do seek. Show we the straight way, the way of those who in the go astray. Amen. Remember those Africans that prayed knee bone in the wilderness.
Al-Islam in the Americas goes back to at least 1500. Some would say 1400s. And what we look at, we see the foundation of African Muslims here in the US, Caribbean, Central and South America. The foundation remains with us and you can't escape it. It's right here. It's the fabric of our society.
Every corner, every little place there.
Gullah Geechee people are African Americans from Jacksonville, North Carolina, down to St. Augustine, Florida. And we've been called the living links to Africa based on that because they say that we hold on to more traditions from Africa than anyone else. We see burial practices also, where some people in this area will go and bury people facing east. Again, understanding that when they have their churches set up, they have the men sitting on one side and women on another side of the church structures, showing again that remnants, again, that tied to Al-Islam. For our ancestors who came here and who were Muslims, it was difficult and it was hard, but they still faced the battle with regards to practicing Al-Islam. They can go and do fasting, they can do charity, they can do making salat, they can acknowledge the oneness of the Most High.
We smile, we see Musa. The African Muslims never gave up on Africa. Because we understand that we are from the Holy Land. We are Muku Chukwu, children of God. We are the spirits of the soil right here.
Most of the community now Baptist. They were converted to Christianity and Baptist. But in the early days, when one was to become a member of the Baptist church, you had to go through a ritual, sort of like a rites of passage, but it involved praying. And one of the traditions that I recognize and remember is that we had to pray at least 3 to 4 times a day, and we had to face the east when we prayed. So, you know, out of the traditional Islamic way of praying, the 5 times a day.
Dixon. I'm originally from Baltimore, and I'm an independent filmmaker. I run my own production company, Audace Entertainment, to center the narrative of Black Muslim women and girls. Black Muslim in Baltimore was normal. That was just life. I didn't know anything other than that. I grew up in a very tightly knit community. Ours was one of the first masjids established by Warthi Muhammad. I grew up in that masjid. Went to school there. It's called Sister Clara Muhammad School, named after his mother. It was there that I met Muhammad Ali. It was there that I grew up a Black girl. I didn't think it was strange to be Muslim. I was just what we were. Growing up in Baltimore, I originally grew up in a predominantly Black community until we moved to the county, and my mother began teaching at an Islamic center that was predominantly Arab, predominantly Desi, and it was difficult for my younger brothers and sisters and for me with darker skin because we were marginalized. Often I would get side-eye instead of wa alaikum salam. I was often made to feel like your scarf is not right, because we pinned our scarf in the back and draped it in the front. Nobody wants to be outcast. Nobody wants to be, that is not a good feeling. And so some of the girls that I talk to, they lighten their skin. They adopt, on the other opposite end of the spectrum, dark-skinned girls, they adopt these behaviors that will make them more acceptable in communities, wear their scarves a certain way, to be more like Arabs or to be more like Desis. Or I had one sister, she's dark-skinned, and she said, you know, my mom had us wear shalwar kameez growing up. And I don't know what to say to that, because that's not Black culture. That's another person's culture. And the erasure of your own Black culture, it's harmful and it's hurtful. One Arab guy told me, the Black Muslim community tends to be troubling, like they're troublemakers. But you know what, it's not us that's making the trouble. Because we're Black, the trouble comes to us. Black Muslim communities usually are dealing with the issues of being Black, more so than anything. We're not usually called terrorists, because when you first see me, you see me as Black. But like we were going back about the masjid, the school where I taught, where it was mostly Arabs and Desis, there is, in my opinion, what I believe is that they don't want to be singled out. And so because Black people are singled out, like that's our legacy here in this country. I feel othered in those spaces. And it's not a good feeling when your own community makes you feel like you don't belong. That's hurtful. I was heartbroken. So, you know, my decision to find my tribe, people who look and live like me, was a way to heal my broken heart and get back in the trenches and build those bridges, because I'm never gonna give up on that. I'm getting so emotional, I'm sorry. Reverse. Now, try it again. Part of the reason why I created the hashtag was to show people that you can't separate them. I'm Black, I'm Muslim, I'm a woman, and I'm fly, you know? That's who I am. It's one identity. I don't know if that even was a real thing, but I thought I need to be uplifted. And I know there are girls and women out there just like me who need to be uplifted. Follow me, and cut. I created what I called an empowerment brand, and it wasn't about money, it was about bigging up myself, so to speak. I grew up on hip hop, so like the way that rappers boast in their rhymes, that's what I want Black Muslim Girl Fly to be for us, to remind us who we are. We are awesome, we are fresh to death, dope, fly. You did a great job. Alhamdulillah.
From this day forward, we'll strive to improve myself spiritually, morally, mentally, socially, politically, and economically, for the benefit of myself, my family, and my people.
Why do you have an addicted wife? Tell me that. If God is up for a kneel, punishing white people for life, to save you from what?
Any of them who live in areas where the government is not able to do its job then we do have to get together and do a job of protecting ourselves.
I joined the Nation of Islam when I was 18 years old, and I committed myself to work for al-Islam in America throughout my life. My death are all for Allah. So in all the services and all the work that I do for al-Islam. I joined in '72 and made that transition, found to Orthodox Islam in '75, and 46 years later, I'm still here in America as a Muslim, telling our story, our heritage, at America's Islamic Heritage Museum. The Nation of Islam was the father of the black movement and black consciousness. Prior to Elijah Muhammad coming on the scene, you know, the people used to call us Negroes, coons, and everything. So he gave you this concept of black pride. What it represents, a breakaway from the Western world, from that concept, it gave you unity, you know, amongst the African-American people, the indigenous people. It gave you a sense of camaraderie. And as a teenager, for me, it made me jobs. You know, I worked for the Nation of Islam. I sold the fish, the bean pie, the newspaper, took collections. So it was a job. It fed me, it clothed me.
My personal problem is never solved as long as the problem is not solved for all of our people in this country. So I remain Malcolm X as long as there is a need to protest and struggle and fight against the injustices that our people are involved in this country.
Malcolm X was my first teacher, and you have to love him, and I do, and I did, and I learned a lot from him. In fact, we used to, when the first time he went to colleges in the New England states on the East Coast, we were there with him. It was a paramilitary group, and we believed in defending ourselves, we believed in protecting our women, and we did not believe in letting people just misuse us and take care of us and mishandle us any way they wanted to, and we did not believe in turning the other cheek. We stopped drinking alcohol, beers, and wine. We stopped the promiscuity. We stopped gambling. We stopped all of those things that was considered vices. No drugs, none of those particular habits, and we had to stop eating pork. We were taught all of the physical things that a Muslim is supposed to do. It gave them a sense of identity, a sense of love, a sense of desire to be themselves. They had rediscovered who they were. During slavery, we were just slaves. We had no identity. We were deaf, dumb, and blind. So in the Nation of Islam, we became proud of ourselves.
My name is Issa Mubarak. I'm an African-American Mexican Muslim. I grew up in the South Central LA area, the first 18 years of my life. I am Muslim, but sometimes I feel as though basketball is almost my second religion. You know, it's a part of me, a part of who I am now.
My name is Abdurazak Abdullah. I'm 17 years old. I'm a black Muslim and I live in Los Angeles. Recently, I finished high school. Come this fall, I should be starting community college.
Being black and Muslim is mostly complicated because of, you know, trying to fit in. You're trying to fit into a country where they don't really accept black people or Muslims like that.
Like and most of the Muslims you see are like, they would probably be like Arab. They don't really expect black people to be Muslims or something. They expect them like Arab or Middle Eastern people.
When you have a country that just voted in a president that doesn't like black people, Mexicans, or Muslims, it gets a little harder because we just got to the point where we're like, you know, breaking grounds with people like, you know, Muslims are okay, black people are okay, and then now this president comes in saying both of them are not. We actually are. I mean, it gets a lot more difficult. I was walking down the street going home. I saw police pull up on the side of me driving slow, and I didn't think anything much of it because, you know, normally they pull up and they look at us anyways, right? So I just assumed, you know, he's just checking me out, see what I'm doing. So I'm just like, oh, like, how you doing, officer? I keep walking, and then he pulls right up to me, and another one pulls up on the sidewalk with me, and he's like, they're like, oh, get out, get on the floor, like, you know, put your stuff down, get your stuff on the floor. I'm like, what did I do? I'm like, I hope I don't get shot, so I put my hands up, put my backpack down, and I'm like, what did I do? Like I did nothing wrong. I know I'm good. Like, and then he's like, I'm gonna let you know in a minute. I'm gonna let you know in a minute. I was like, all right, fine, I'm gonna comply. I comply, I put my stuff down. He told me, put your hands behind your back. And I'm like, damn, what did I do? He still didn't tell me, bro. And then he finally puts cuffs on me. Why are you detaining me? He's like, we'll tell you later. I'm like, but you need to tell me now. Like, you can't just pull me over and tell me like to get out and stop and do all that for nothing.
My everyday concern, it's not more so Islamophobia, because they don't really, when they look at me, they don't really assume I'm a Muslim. So, you know, it's more so the being black and, you know, just being a black man, they instantly assume you're doing the worst, you know, the cops, and then...
when they find out what your name is.
Yeah, when they find out your name is, they're like, oh, he's black like, and Muslim.
What? And you live on a block where there's a masjid with a lot of Muslims? That's a little suspect, sir. I've got that from the cop, too.
When I get pulled over and, like, they are, like, trying to pat me down, they ask me, like, oh, you got any guns, grenades, you know, rocket launcher, any of that on you? I'm like, what? How is that going to be in my pocket?
9/11 made it a lot worse. Like, way more difficult for Muslims to even get a job out here. Like, you put your name on a job application, I put my name, Issa Mubarak. You think they're going to call me back? Bro. They're probably looking at it. Next. I have to call them. I'm like, yeah, I'm Issa Mubarak. And they're like, really? Like,
okay, you gotta sound like a regular person.
The hardest part about being black and Muslim is that you have to be accepted by both sides, like, to really able to go out and say you're a black Muslim. I'm happy that I grew up on the block that I did, because if it wasn't for that block, like, I don't know where I would be in life. I would probably lost. I grew up with people that are black and Muslim. So we all embraced each other, and we know what we are, we know what we want in life, and no matter what, wherever I go, if people don't accept me, I know my friends, my family right over here will.
One of the biggest concerns for African-American Muslims today, in my opinion, is the fact that even though there is a large population of African-American Muslims, we're still not identified. We're still not really seen. We're still kind of in the shadows. Like I said before, they think Nation of Islam, so they think Farrakhan and all this other negativity that goes with it. Although it did play an important part in our history. For me, it's important that my girls know. So we have a bookstore called SO1. It's like one of the only black bookstores around. And so we go there to get our books. Being black in America, you feel like you carry the burden of your entire race on your shoulders. And it's still like that even with Islam. It's like, even though I'm Muslim, I know it's for humanity, I know it's a welcoming and opening religion for everyone, it's still like I carry the weight of Islam on my shoulders, the weight of being black on my shoulders, the weight of being a female on my shoulders, as well as being a mom. So when you put all that together, it's like a huge responsibility, and it's difficult to balance.
Muslims are part of the fabric right here, and you can't escape it. And what we have to do as African Muslims is put it to the forefront, not be ashamed of it, let it be understood that we are here and we've been a part of the pillar of this society from the very beginning. If we don't tell the story, no one else will tell the story. No one else will tell you your greatness, you must tell your greatness.